Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tradesman Experience. This is the podcast built by tradesmen for tradesmen. My name is Josh, and in the studio is, of course, the talent, Mr. Nate Newton. Nate, how are you, sir?
Putting up the good fight, per usual.
Yeah.
You know? Got some nasty weather rolling in, so we're trying to get as much outdoor work done as we can. We get a couple TIs going on where those will be good for a couple of snow days, but yeah, we're still just in the fucking weeds, man. We can't get out in front of our schedule, and you know, it's a lot of it is dependent upon contractors not doing their job, but a lot of it is us having to do rework, and you know, we don't walk away from anything until it's done right, you know, and we QC everything. So, but yeah, especially with the implementation of JobTread right now. Okay, by the way, all high praises to fucking JobTread. I hope people listen to that interview with Eric. It's an amazing piece of software, and it's only as good as the information you put into it. So if you are thinking about making the switch, and you do, make sure you take the time, take a month to set it up the way you want. It's super customizable, and it's just having daily logs on each project from each team member to find out how much got done, where the problems are at, what's missing. You know, it takes all the guesswork out in the morning because everybody can pull it up on their fucking phone and go, oh, we need to bring a fucking roto hammer and some Titans today. Cool.
That right there saves 3 hours of the day.
Yeah, 3 hours of my day. Because I'm usually the dumbass that's got to run. It's either me or Matt's got to run it up there, you know?
Yeah.
So just the organization that comes along with it, the tracking, the job costing is fucking huge. You know, if somebody's got to go stop and pick up, you know, some set XP or something, they can take a picture of the receipt, log it into the job, then we can plug the numbers into the job and then reimburse them for their receipt. So it's like,
damn,
fucking godsend. It's everything that we've needed as contractors, you know? And like listening to Eric talk about it and how passionate he was about it, it's like, you can see it in his work when it comes to the program looking the way it did. But Eric, I need you guys to hurry up and get the retention shit figured out on the job costing side. Because that would be super useful for us, because we do a lot of public works, plus we do a lot of commercial. And those require 5% retention. So to be able to track that in real time and have it like in our face, you know, because otherwise it's just we have it written out on invoices like, oh, this amount paid, this is what's still remaining.
Yeah.
So, but I was told by our success manager that, you know, that they were working on that.
Cool.
So
they're so culture driven, and they're so driven to take care of their client, which is you. And because of the customizing options of that program, if you're not a service-based company where you're dispatching, you need to use JobTread.
If you are a new construction or TI contractor, you need to have JobTread. Yeah. And I think that nobody has put it together this well other than like Sage, but like Sage is so far beyond what most small businesses need. You know, if you're doing $10 million or less a year, you should be on JobTread. Yeah. And it's such there's no making phone calls to find out who's where, who's working on what. You know, like it's super easy to just take the small amount of data that you needed to be able to extract that and run with it without having to fucking call 3 different people and ask whatever dumb questions. All of your information is right there. And as a leader, it helps you make concrete decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. You made a point when we were talking that I need to jump on there and just
fuck around with it.
Just mess around and kind of navigate through it and see, because my experience has nothing to do with hands-on field related, because I don't have an application for it. My experience comes from, as I stated in my interview with Eric, of me interrogating them.
Right.
Asking, watching demos, watching them interact with other clients, having conversations with their team members, and then moving to the next level of going, okay, hey, I'm thinking about promoting your product. And we're affiliates now.
Oh, I was going to say, just so you know, we don't get paid.
We don't.
Oh, okay.
No,
I was expecting a check all of a sudden.
No, they are affiliates, but if anyone does go sign up, make sure that you mention the Tradesman Experience. And it's just, for me, again, they check all the boxes.
Yeah.
For any type of project-based company.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so fucking huge. And being able to, we can set different like cost items for stuff. So we even threw it in there for rework that'll count negatively towards the budget of the project. And so we get to see at the end of the week, like, hey, what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah.
How much shit did you have to fix? Why did you have to fix that? This is how much you cost us, just so you know. Now go ahead and take that number and double it because you were reworking instead of doing out something revenue producing. So what's going on?
Yeah. The hidden expenses of a business, or the untracked expenses, I should say, of the business is where the money disappears. Mm-hmm. I had a conversation this week, and they just hired a really good bookkeeper. Mm-hmm. And they've been going through finances, going through classifications for spending and whatnot, and found out that they had this area of their company where they spent almost $25,000 in a year, and it was not accounted for.
Right. Yeah. That doesn't show up under P&Ls,
No, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. And so just having that sense of awareness is super beneficial. But I'm glad that you said it's the output's only as good as the input.
Yeah, because it's capable of so much, and use it to your capacity. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of stuff in there that I'm like, I don't really know how to use that yet. But we're also we literally launched it this week. This is our first week on full launch, but we've been using it for about a month with a couple of our employees to, kind of set up how we were going to operate with it. So, yeah, this is our first full week, and we're already seeing benefits with it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's fucking huge. It really is.
Well, something else I want to talk about before we dive into the content is we're launching a 2-day workshop, live on location in Reno. It's not a webinar. It's you are coming here. It's going to be limited seating.
Come on, you want to come see the talent? You know you do.
And this is, when you hear this podcast, just jump over to the website, and all of the information will be there because we're still working out the back end of the pricing. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be April 3rd and 4th. So the reason that I picked those dates is that is a Wednesday, Thursday. You can take care of your business on Monday, travel on Tuesday. We're going to do, there are 2 full days on Wednesday, Thursday, and then you can travel back Friday or hang out in beautiful northern Nevada for the weekend if you so choose.
Yeah, go hang out in Lake Tahoe. If that's where you're here. If you're here and haven't been here yet, go to Tahoe.
Yeah,
Reno's just another city.
Come to Reno. Lake Tahoe's 20 minutes away. Mm-hmm. So you can enjoy the weekend. But April 3rd and 4th, we're having a 2-day workshop. It's going to be limited to 25 seats. Mm. And because it's going to be hands-on dissection. Mm-hmm. We're going to do full business planning. We're going to do financial planning. We're going to do financial training. We're going to teach you how to read the financial gauges of your business, job costing, P&L sheets, the difference in markup and margin, how to calculate profit accurately. We're going to go into delegation, hiring and delegation, org chart structure, and leadership training.
Shit, that's a lot for 2 days.
Well, you'll show up day 1 and get a workbook, and you'll leave at the end of day 2 with a game plan.
Yeah. And I feel like there's so many people out there that the thing that they're missing is a direction and a game plan. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's like a lot of us just go into business out of frustration. Yep. And then we get here and we're like, oh, fuck. Mm-hmm. What am I doing?
So the workshop is being built out of a question that I get. And the question is, hey, is there how can we compress this? Right? Is there something that we can do where I can learn this faster? And so I've been stewing on that thought for a while. And I thought, okay, if I get you away from your business and we have it all set up and structured and you have a workbook, basically you're building a business playbook. Mm-hmm. You're going to leave with a plan, and to where I want to make it as simple as you just have to focus on implementation.
Yeah.
I don't want you wondering. I don't want you thinking, what if? Mm-hmm. I want you to fucking implement.
Be definitive in what you're walking out of there with. Yeah.
So it's going to be 2 days of immersion, mm-hmm. and it's going to be a lot. It's going to be fucking awesome. I'm so pumped. And I have I'm doing a joint venture with another company. They're coming in and they're going to teach the financial part. Mm-hmm. but we're working very closely together. So go to the website, all the details, and sign up is going to be on there, tradesmanexperience.com. Like you said, limited seating, but 2 days will change your business.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many people out there that, I mean, I know fucking 4 contractors off the top of my head that need this shit, you know?
I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and I was telling them about it because by the time this comes out, because the tradesman experience clients are going to get first right. They're getting first chances to jump on the tickets.
Right.
That's a perk to be in the coaching.
Right.
And they're in the coaching. So they already said, yes, 100% we'll be there. And then she said, I already know of 4 other businesses that I'm going to take this to.
Right.
So she goes, when it's live, you'll let me know. And she goes, I will market the shit out of this for you. So
fucking A.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Go
get on it.
Go get your ticket.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we're limiting it because we are going to take the time in these 2 days to spend where you are going to write out and construct a business plan. And we're going to help you. And it's going to be in a closed environment with other people like-minded that are working on similar things. But there's going to be people there. We're going to be there to help you navigate this. And not just in a one-to-one setting, but if you have a question, you say, okay, this part, how do I develop this part of the business plan? Great, let's talk about it out loud. Right? And we're going to help you construct this. Same thing with the financials. We're going to go through the financials, and all the information will be on there, but you're going to bring your accounting shit with you. Like, this isn't going to be in like, oh, well, if you make $1 million, it's like, no, what are you making?
Right. Yeah. So are you guys going to be able to plug in their numbers to the formulas? And
Yep.
Yeah. That's going to be so depressing for some people.
Yeah, there's going to be spreadsheets and programs and like everybody's going to need to bring a laptop or an iPad with access to their financials if they don't, what they don't have printed out. So
right.
Yeah, it's definitely hands-on. And the cool thing is there's not really, I don't see it being anybody in there being in competition where you're like, oh, I don't want them to see my numbers.
Well, I mean it's not like you're asking to put it up on a fucking Jumbotron or something. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the thing is like your numbers are going to be you, but we're going to go through everything in real time.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be eye-opening for a lot of people. They're like, I make 20%, and they do the numbers, and they're like, I make 3%.
Yeah. Mark up and margin.
And again, the unforeseen costs, untracked expenses, all that kind of shit. So yeah, this has been a brainchild for a little while now, and we're finally breathing some life into it.
Sweet. Well, we'll be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. So, which is a great segue into our topic tonight. And this is something that I've been struggling. I think struggle is the right term that I've been struggling with lately in developing business. And because every business has up and downs, right, Nate?
What, you need to tell me there's ups?
And it's always a result of what we did, 30 days to 12 months prior.
Well, hold on. In the contracting world, is what we did. We're on a project right now that the first time we bid it was 5 years ago.
God.
It's been cost value engineered 4 different times. We've bid on it every time.
Yeah.
The job's kind of a disaster at this point. But even something like that, when you don't revisit your numbers properly and all that kind of stuff, and we're not, no, that's not what we're talking about tonight, but yeah, dude, I mean, it can go back as far as that,
right.
Decisions you made 4 years ago can come back and bite you in the fucking ass.
And I've been experiencing that, and the conversation that I've been having, or the question, more or less, the question that I've been asking myself is, how do you define whatever it takes? And because I think people like to pride themselves in saying, oh, I'll do whatever it takes. And
you willing to cut your pay by 50%?
Yeah, and I've done that.
Whatever it takes?
I've done that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, where you kill a baby, like, that's not what we're fucking talking about.
That's not what we're saying, but what is it that you're willing to, and I don't even want to say sacrifice, but what is it that you're willing to neglect to get done what you need to get done?
Yeah. Are you willing to put your family on the back burner for 6 months to correct the ship that's going down
I think that's a great example.
And understand the long game there, providing for your family and being able to spend more time with them down the road.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or you're going to miss out on certain, dude, you're going to miss out on shit no matter what. Understand that.
Yep.
You know, whether you own a business or you just work for somebody, you're missing out on shit regardless, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, do you want to eat that shit sandwich up front and have a more fruitful back end? You know, what really does it mean for whatever it takes, you know?
And that's the thing is, I think that everyone has an asterisk,
mm-hmm.
you know, to their phrase, you know, whatever it takes.
But
right, I'll do whatever it takes. Well, I won't do that. Well, I won't neglect my family. Well, I won't stop this. Or it's like, okay, then how are you defining whatever it takes?
Mm-hmm. Maybe don't use that term.
Right. And I think that's accurate too.
Yeah, where you suck 20 hobo dicks in a back alley? I know, I ain't doing that.
Just to get that cell?
Yeah, right.
18 maybe.
18.
20, that's a lot. Why are they hobo dicks? That's dirty.
Yeah, well, whatever it takes, right?
That's dirty. There's my asterisk. Yeah. They got to be clean.
I'm going to get this man a washcloth.
Jesus. Can I get a wipe down? Yeah. Can I get a wipe down over here?
Welcome to the trades.
Yeah. But, you know, for me, what I've been dealing with in the business is just a result of the decisions that I made last year. And as of this recording, which today is January 31st, last Sunday night was my last night on night shift.
Oh, nice.
So I was working second shift 3 nights a week at a local resort, and I've been doing it for months. Because I had gotten myself in a financial situation by not making the right decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so it put me in a position where I literally had to do whatever it takes
mm-hmm.
by my definition. But, you know, I gave up a lot. I gave up the gym. I gave up all eating out. I gave up basically all drinking. I think we did the podcast
last week,
with Joel. But it's like, I sat down and was like, okay, I have to eliminate all of this from my life.
Mm-hmm.
And focus on this, because I put myself in a financial situation where I really don't have a choice, but I choose how I respond to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And me defining for myself to do whatever it takes put me on a path of implementation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, the conversation, it's like, what are your limits? And not just what are your limits, but one, what are your limiting beliefs that's preventing you from getting done what you need to get done? And what are the limiting factors that you're imposing on yourself that are preventing you from getting done what you need to get done?
Mm-hmm.
And how mindful are you really of what you're doing?
Right. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't. I want to say that one of the biggest holdbacks is like, is it really going to work out in the end? And if you're willing to do whatever it takes, you have to have faith that it's going to work out in the
mm-hmm.
end, right? And that's exactly what it is. It's faith. This is some mystical shit, you know. And I like these. I like the idea of, you know, let's take athletics for example. The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it, right? And you can see it in the performance. But the unfortunate side of all this is that most of us don't have metrics that we track. We don't know how to read P&Ls. We don't know how to read balance sheets. And so therefore, we don't know what progress looks like. And for you to be able to go whatever it takes when you can't see the fucking minuscule amount of progress you make in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but that compounds into something really big in 6 months to a year, you know, you have to have a certain level of understanding in order to take that leap into whatever it takes. And you have to believe that whatever you're doing is going to make a difference.
Yeah. I truly think, and this was something I saw Alex Hormozy talk about, is you're talking about like just the mystical beliefs of having faith in doing what you're doing and that it's going to pay off. I truly believe that when you commit to something, the universe is absolutely going to test you on how bad you want it.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it tests you to see how far you are willing to go to fight for the thing that you want,
mm-hmm.
and to go after the thing that you want. And and it's crazy because a couple things, and that, if I've been doing this since 2020, and it's, still ups and downs, and still fighting to grow and develop this thing. And by the way, my biggest realization of last year was I need to stop trying to do this on my own. That was the biggest realization. I'm like, what a fucking hypocrite am I?
Yeah, but but that's hard when you're the guru. When you're the
difficult.
Guru of that, it's hard to be like, okay, maybe I don't know all the answers, and because I get that imposter syndrome coming on here every once in a while, and it's fuck, dude. No matter who you are, if you're in business, you get kicked in the fucking mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes it's months on end.
Yeah.
And you have no wins.
Yep.
Can you weather that storm?
Right. And so I think when you go on this dark, difficult journey of doing whatever it takes, and when you actually commit to that path, there's a couple things that happen. Is one, you get to see what you're capable of by yourself. Because that tunnel is very long and very dark, and you're in there alone. But I think you have to be for a certain part of that journey.
Yeah, well, and it's because it's going to test your limiting beliefs of yourself, right? And
entirely.
And because, dude, there's shit that I'm capable of right now that you would ask me 3 years ago. Like, dude, you're going to have to do this, this, and this. But like, fuck, no, I can't do that. And at that capacity, I couldn't, right? But now I can, and it's dude, just being able to go to sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of time spent where I couldn't go to fucking sleep at night, but now I know how to compartmentalize stress. And it's like, dude, if you only knew the shit you were going to be dealing with. Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I've learned on this, and I know this won't be the only time I go through this journey and through this process in life, but for the case in point, one of the cool things that I've learned is when you keep going, what is actually waiting for you is better than you thought it was going to be. And my hat is off to the networking opportunities that I have had in the last 6 weeks. Steve Rosenberg came on, Joni Wolfswinkel came on, Pete Newbig came on, and I'm getting to meet people that a year ago I would have been scared shitless to meet or interview.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the confidence and capacity to sit down and talk about something and literally them go, I've never thought of it that way. I like that.
Right.
And actually feel like the expert in my field.
Right.
But that's what's waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So doesn't mean that it's over, and it doesn't mean that it's easy now.
Right.
But the opportunities that are waiting for you and will present itself far better than you would imagine that they would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll let you know when it happens.
So here's another point I want to make on what you said. Because you said, if you would have told me 3 years ago, I'd be dealing with, and working through the things that you're working with. A mistake that we make is when we project ourselves in the future and look at the things that we want, the mistake is that we project our current self into our future goals.
Yep.
And that equation doesn't work.
Well, just revamping this business on the level we have on the administrative side, the way we have, holy fuck, dude, the whirlwind of information, and not only information, but understanding of what's going on. Me from 6 weeks ago, completely different story with the way that I look at the way this business is run, the things that we need to do, the direction we're heading in. It's eye-opening. And when you really sit down and you put yourself in the shit, when you dismantle your business down to the bones.
Yeah.
And then, you want to talk about what is it going to take? You take a $2 million a year company and you strip that fucking thing down bare naked and then start building it back up in a whole other light with a whole bunch of other input with a bunch of people that know what the fuck they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And you finally put your ego to the side and you listen.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, business makes sense now. I didn't realize that business didn't make sense to me already. I already thought that we were doing great. I'm like, $2 million a year? Who the fuck does that?
Winning.
Everybody. Yeah, everybody does $2 million a year.
No, it's the ego thing I appreciate, because the other thing that you have to accept when you're applying this concept of whatever it takes and you're in this dark tunnel by yourself, is give yourself permission to not fucking know everything. And that was...
You know how hard that is for me?
Me too. Yeah. And that was one of the hardest things for me was, again, recognizing that not only do I not need to know everything, but I just need to align myself with people that do.
Mm-hmm.
And it is retarded how fast you can get to where you want to be when you accept that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know what? Because a really good, addition to that point is that when we started this business, we thought we just, we're going to do work for money. And then you come in and disrupt everything. And then we finally let our guards down. We go to that Tony Robbins event and it's like, okay, we don't know shit. And we embraced that.
Mm-hmm.
But then we started gaining fucking steam and we start winning and we start like crushing it. And then you get back into that mindset of, oh, we know what we're fucking doing. And then now here I am sitting with egg on my face again, like, oh, fuck. Yeah. But once you step up to the next level and you start, you want to play with the big boys, it's like, okay, there's a lot more to this fucking game and it's a lot you don't know about and it's a lot you can't fucking handle either.
Yeah.
You need to start delegating shit to the right people, getting a fucking EFI. We still don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
We're still trying to figure out the budget to get somebody in there to do that kind of stuff. Really hoping we can work something out with Emma. And like, I'm starting to see the absolute significance of that EFI position and what it allows me to do once that person's there and what kind of revenue does that generate.
Right.
I mean, I'm thinking on 6 months terms at this point, not just 1 month or, I would dabble in what's going to next year going to look like. Now it's like everything that I think about is 6 months out. The here and now is kind of really hard for me to focus on to like go out and be in the shit,
Why do you think we wait to hit the whatever it takes button when we're on the line of literally down to the last penny of losing everything?
I think we just can't. Well, because for one, once we're down to that last penny, that's like you said, 6 months in the fucking works, right?
Yeah.
And because the you starting to slack, it's not immediate,
Mm-hmm.
That takes time for it to show up and rear its head. But I also think that it's arrogance. I think that it's ego. I think that we think we have it figured out. And then by the time we're like, oh, we're just in a slump, whatever, it's going to turn back around. But we've done nothing to adjust our behaviors, attitudes, relationships.
Yeah.
And then next thing we know, we're like,
mm-hmm.
Because you can't just sit in one location either. You can't just, if your business isn't growing, it's dying, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's via Tony Robbins. And I always thought that was kind of dumb because I was like, like a mechanic shop will fucking do they'll do however much every year and this and that. Like they can only expand so much in a mechanic shop. That's not true. Those people are barely getting by half of the time, and there are certain people that can figure it out and make the money work, but they're still growing at some increment, and it's not like doubling revenue every year.
Right.
But sometimes they're growing as people as opposed to growing the business, especially like sole owner operators,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a tough gig to run and you have to develop yourself just as much as you have to develop your business. And sometimes you're in that area of developing yourself,
Yeah.
But I think we start to plateau and we're like, oh, then you're like, we're comfortable now.
It's ridiculous when that stress starts to alleviate.
The dumb shit you do when you're not stressed out. You think you do dumb shit when you're stressed out? The dumb shit you do when you're not stressed out is far more dangerous than the contrary.
Yep. Well, luckily I have Katie who does apply some level of balance to my life because, and God love her, she's been there to help me navigate through this whole dark tunnel. And, outside of the parts where I have to do it alone, but she also knows, we had this conversation yesterday. She was like, hey, what time are you going home tonight? Because she knows my whatever take button is like, I'll just break the fucking switch off.
Yeah, right.
And
come crawling out of your office like a mouse brought to you.
Yeah.
You're already halfway there.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. So she's there to help me apply some of that balance and at least keep me somewhat sane. I'm not a fan of normalcy, but to keep me sane and help me recognize that, look, you cross a line where you start taking away from tomorrow. instead of adding to.
Mm-hmm. Instead of adding to today, you're taking away from tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think Matt and I have a pretty good grasp on that. You know, especially with as hectic as shit's been lately. We know when to throw the towel in on the day.
Oh, I wish I did.
Like if we hit 2:00 and shit's just fucking upside down, it's like everybody fucking go home. Matt and I are gonna do the same thing. Because clearly whatever we're doing right now ain't fucking working. You know? And so but then that gives us a moment to get ourselves out of the shit.
Yeah.
And because I mean our even if you're a stellar leader, your frustration is still gonna bleed into your teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because most of your frustration comes from your teams. So am I wrong?
So true.
Okay.
So true.
Yeah. And so to take that mental break and go, we sure as fucking helping ourselves. We're fucking stuff up left and right. Let's take the rest of the afternoon, go and fucking think about what it is you need to do. We'll think about what we need to do. And let's reconvene in the morning and figure out a fucking game plan. But if we would, because we've done that where we're like, shit's just upside down, everything's on fire, we're pushing forward. All we did was move backwards and everybody's fucking pissed the next morning. Mm-hmm. It's like, let's take a couple hours and fucking go home and figure it the fuck out. And contractors hate it when you do that. But I don't fucking care. Mm-hmm. That whatever we're doing, just us being on site isn't getting your fucking project done.
No.
And I don't have to explain myself to you in this fashion.
Yeah. No, I'm a huge fan. I suck at implementation of this. Mm-hmm. And I don't say that to avoid being a hypocrite. I struggle with detaching myself. Mm-hmm. And because it's like, oh, if it gets more difficult, just work harder. And I'm like, enough friction causes a fire, mm-hmm. right? And then everybody's like, well, what about iron sharpens iron? I'm like, I get that.
No, hold on. No. There's a huge difference between being in the field and working on something mm-hmm. that's finicky and fighting you back. There's a difference when operations start to fail. When operations start to fail, that's when you need to fucking stop what you're doing and make sure everybody's back on the same fucking page before you recommence again. Because, I mean, we were in the pipeline game where everything's fighting you in every fucking direction and nothing's easy. That's just the name of the fucking game, right? That's not what we're talking about stopping.
Right.
We're talking about stopping when operations and systems fail and the team's at each other's throats mm-hmm. and we're not working as a cohesive unit. Yeah. That's when we stop and we reconvene.
Yeah. I think the military calls it battle fatigue.
Okay.
And when you got to get away from the front line and you've got to get out of battle and you've just got to go take, in your case, a couple hours or a day, it's like you have to remove yourself from the situation mm-hmm. so you can recover. And recognizing that recovery or, rest is such a vital part of recovery, mm-hmm. even for a business, having the business having that rest and that time to recover is super important because you're going to be able to elevate faster. It's like taking a couple days off from the gym and you go back and you're like, oh, I'm so much fucking stronger.
Dude, your brother, just like in the last fucking year, has figured that out because Matt's been a gym rat his whole life, yep. right? But that's also his happy place.
That's right.
He thoroughly, dude, if you let him be in there for 3 fucking mm-hmm. hours a day, he loves being in the gym. But, especially when we were doing like 75 hard stuff and pushing the envelope on shit, and then, he gets I think he had to step out for a week for some reason, whether it's some ailment or something. And he goes back in the gym and he's like, dude, I'm going to be such a fucking piece of shit in here. And then he's just throwing around 10 to 15% more weight.
Right.
And he's like, dude, I'm like, yeah, because you gave your body a fucking chance, dude, But, I mean, especially for him balancing the mental happiness and mm-hmm. physical fatigue. And and he's a tough motherfucker, too, Like, he'll push through that shit. And watching him understand that helped me understand it so much more.
Sure.
Because with him he's been in the gym for, 20 fucking years?
Yeah.
Religiously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so... Because I felt that way. I'm like, dude, I just feel like I'm not doing as much by doing more. I'm like, but Matt's able to fucking, have the physique that he does. And I guess I just got to push through it. And then he had that week where he couldn't go in. And he's just like, dude, I feel fucking great. Okay. All right.
Yeah. You have to. And that's something that Matt and I were having a conversation because Katie is a gym rat, like diehard, hardcore, weighs her food, measures her macros. Like she's a fucking animal, dude. And
I measure my macros.
Well,
1, 2,
3. But Matt was like, dude, he's like, how much does she work out? I said, religiously 4 times a week. He was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah. He said, I feel like for me, that's too far away. And I said, she understands the benefit of recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And she even measures her recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, dude, she's like a beast. I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, so, it's like, yeah, you have to detach yourself. Because the thing with Matt, too, is Matt is definitely one of the whatever it takes kind of guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
To his own detriment as well. Like, he will sacrifice everything about himself to do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
mission oriented.
Definitely. Yeah. And to be honest, I think that's genetic for us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the
you
ones
guys are just a little retarded.
That's probably it. I don't know what
you got some grade of tism going on.
I don't know what's not in the water in Perry County. But we do have, that's one thing I will say is it's a lineage of whatever it takes.
I mean, ethic, but I believe that's like a societal thing for you guys too, like within your small commune of your family and, the small town that you grew up in. It was hardworking, coal-mining motherfuckers that nobody, that shit doesn't get bred out of you, and it translates.
And your value is measured by your work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how my grandpa measured the worth of a man.
Yeah. And, it's old school. And people are like, oh, we need to go back to being that way. The world doesn't support that anymore. So shut the fuck up. Try and figure out how to make yourself valuable in the world that you're in right now.
Work smarter and harder.
Yeah.
Not just harder.
And take some fucking time off. God damn, dude. When you were talking about Grandpa, how many years did he go without taking a day off?
He worked at coal mines, and he did a 36-month shift. he worked 3 years straight with no day off.
Yeah, see, fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. No thanks.
Right.
Yeah. I can understand that back in, like, let's say the 40s or something, where the only time you ever got a chance to go see the world was at war.
Right.
Like, intercontinental travel wasn't as easy as it is now. But, dude, there's so much fucking shit to see in this world. And, dude, I have the fullest intention to visit all of Central America. I've been to Costa Rica, Belize, plan on going to Panama for Christmas this year.
Cool.
So it's like, there's so much cool shit to see out there, so many different cultures and shit to go check out. And it's easy to get there, and you can travel for relatively cheap. I mean, I don't, but you can if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think part of it is evaluating that narrative, right? Because with the concept of whatever it takes, there are people that believe that they do. So I'm talking about people on the other end, not Grandpa Chuck, but they think they do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at their behaviors, they're addicted to social media. They drink every night. They have no sense of balance in their nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
They do nothing to take care of their health physically. They do nothing to take care of their relationship health. But yet they have this justification of like, no, I'm trying to build this thing. I'll do whatever it takes. And I'm like, you're actually not doing whatever it takes. You're doing whatever you want and labeling it as whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And
well, dude, I only sleep like 5 hours a night.
That's because you're gaming.
Yeah, you're right. The sugar high you're on won't allow your eyes to close.
Yeah. So, evaluating that internal narrative and just saying, okay, what is my definition of whatever it takes? What is my daily behavior? How am I pushing towards the goals that I want?
Mm-hmm.
What is my goal over the next 30 days? And what is my plan to achieve it?
Mm-hmm.
See, in business planning and coaching, I don't get wrapped up in 5-year goals.
Dude, especially with the way things move these days. I mean, I feel like those were probably applicable back in the 80s and 90s. But
agreed.
Today's...
No.
And everything evolves so much and everything moves so rapidly. Dude, I mean, even just having a fucking 6-month goal, it's a pretty good fucking thing to aim for,
right? Yeah. Give me, what's your business plan for this year? And let's break it down into metrics of 3 or 4 months.
Right.
Goals. Like, what do you want to be? Where do you want to be in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter? let's focus on that. I want to know what your vision is so we know we're going in the right direction. But don't give me a 5-year plan. Don't give me a 3-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to be December 31?
Right.
Let's work back from there. Where do you want to be in 12 months? Fuck the calendar year. Where do you want to be in a rolling 12?
Mm-hmm.
Let's reverse engineer that.
Yeah.
And focus on that. Now you can do whatever it takes. But here's some of the secrets that you have to do whatever it takes. One, can't do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've said that a couple times on here because I'm talking to myself right now. One, you can't do it alone. So two, you have to figure out what you suck at and what you can delegate. You also have to figure out what it is that you need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's so difficult to figure out what you don't know because you don't know what you don't know kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't identify that unless you detach.
Yep.
And you go, why do I have high turnover in my company? Why am I struggling financially? Why am I at a 30% close rate on my jobs? So what do I need to learn about sales or pricing or job costing? Or you've got to look at these different elements in your life and in your business and kind of evaluate them and go, okay, I don't know this. So what is it going to take to grow? What do I need to learn and who do I need to know?
Right.
And again, I'm preaching to myself because it's been the biggest catalyst for me in the last 6 weeks that's changing everything about this company.
I think that there's things like what you're talking about right now that they're easy to know, they're difficult to understand. You're like, oh yeah, I know know that I need to do this, but you don't understand why you need to know this, you know? And
that's a good point.
It's not till you're in the shit that you're like, oh, that's why job costing matters. Oh, this is why monthly financial meetings matter, you know? And it's, there's just a level of maturity that goes along with that, you know? There'll be something in 6 fucking months that's going to kick you in the mouth and you'll be like, oh, that's why I need to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, and the people that know better than you can tell you over and over again. And for some reason, that doesn't just seat
right
until you understand it. You don't understand it until you're in the shit.
One of the things I've learned as a coach, so now talking about my role as an external factor, is I've learned that no matter the circumstance, people are going to do things on their own terms. It doesn't matter how much information or conversations we have, they're going to do it on their own terms.
How much methamphetamines you put in their coffee in the morning.
It does not matter. And I don't know it's probably the ego thing again, right? Like wanting to take this equation and plug it into what I'm currently doing that changes the equation. Mm-hmm. But people are going to do it on their own terms.
Yeah.
That's just the truth.
Lord knows I have.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not pointing the finger. It's just something that we do. But I also think that even recognizing that is a growth step.
Dude, and I mean, at the end of the day, the blinders are pretty fucking high when you're on upward trajectory, you know? When you're heading up, it's real fucking easy. All you see is that blue sky up there, right? Mm-hmm. Blinders are on out the side windows. It's not until you start coming back down that you see the full picture, you know?
Right.
You look at all that shit you crash into at the bottom. You're like, fuck, we need to pull this thing up like right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. It's been an interesting journey. And, you know, one of the things that you and I do is we try to be vulnerable to a level of sharing.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I've even had listeners tell me, they're like, you give a little too much information out. Like, I don't know how else to do it, you know? Yeah. Like, I don't know who doesn't know what, you know? Right. When I look back to where I was at when I started, fuck, dude. Mm. The amount just the dumb shit that I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like, dude, I'll just put it all out on display and people, if it helps somebody, cool. If not, whatever. I got to sit here and talk into this microphone for an hour.
I was thinking about the first leadership training, the official first workbook leadership training that I ever did. It was for Jeremy and his team. And I was thinking back, and it's hilarious now. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think about that training compared to how it's evolved. And I'm like, okay, I realized that was the best I could give at that point.
You almost need to go back and give them the other one for free. You're like, hey, this is what it's turned into, just so you know.
This is so much better.
Yeah.
But that being said, again, you have to give yourself permission to just do what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to grow and you're going to learn from it. And it's okay to have hindsight and go, that was really primitive, or that was really stupid.
Dude, because I've gone back and looked at some of the early Tony Robbins.
Oh yeah.
Like the VHS tape Tony Robbins.
Oh yeah.
And I've been to his conference. Holy fuck, dude. But you gotta start there to get to there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta be on the lower end of the spectrum and not really knowing what you're doing, but you're passionate about it and you fucking care about it, and you'll do whatever it takes to put the work in, to learn more and do more and be better, and allow your ego to subside, to be like, oh yeah, no, this wasn't that great then, but look at it now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not snake oil shit, you know, which I feel like most people, when they're like, oh, it wasn't great before, but this is how good it is now, people feel like they're doing some sort of snake oil fucking salesmanship of like, oh, it didn't work, but this new and improved model would be great. You know, that's a hard, I guess, identity step you have to take, you know?
It is. I fight that constantly in my business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many coaches ignore the human factor?
How many coaches ignore their own human factor?
Absolutely.
You know? And it's like, I think for a coach to be able to come in and put themselves on display and even be able to show their fuck ups in real time, and be like, oh, hey, like I just learned this because I fucked up here. I learned this. I think for a coach to be able to step up and do that in real time is fucking huge. It makes you far more relatable.
Definitely.
You know?
And authentic, genuine.
Yeah. And because I don't expect you to come in here being fucking Jesus walking on water and hanging out with hookers and shit, you know? I mean, you can if you want. But,
probably most of the time you come in here, I'm trying not to punch the screen out on that fucking computer, you know, or trying to do something else. Back to the whatever it takes thing. I've never gotten through and stood on the outside of whatever it takes, looked back and went, well, that wasn't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done that.
Right.
It's always been worth it.
Mm-hmm.
No matter the sacrifice. For me, and that's a personal thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I lost or gave up or sacrificed or whatever along the way, for me, it was not an unconscious decision.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, okay, these are things that I need to eliminate, and it's never not been worth it.
Yeah, and I think that's on big picture stuff. You know, that's on full vision and path and things like that. There's been a lot of shit that I've done that I've dumped entirely way too much time and energy into, and turned back and gone, that wasn't fucking worth it. But it was in the micro, not the macro.
Yeah, but it was also not part of the whatever it takes journey. That was part of the
let's try this out journey. Yeah.
Yeah, that or complacency or seduction of success, or you know, those other parts. I'm talking again, like in case of emergency, break glass action.
Yeah, right. I don't want people to convolute all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some shit you'll look back on it and go, that wasn't fucking.
Oh, that's
you dabble into a new market and get your ass fucking handed to you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's me every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why were you doing that?
Right.
Yeah. I last night I had to swing by the grocery store, which I do not like doing during the week because I like to have my life is fairly structured.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're a boring old man at 42.
Dude, I know.
Jesus Christ.
I know. It's dumb, but it works for me and it's efficient.
Yeah.
I bought double stuffed Oreos.
Oh, you fat fuck.
I know. I felt like a fat fuck. I ate like 8 of them, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. They were so good.
Went out to lunch with a vendor today. We were kind of wrapping up the day anyway. And I had 2 beers at lunch. Can't remember the last time I sat down and drank beer. I don't really drink beer anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm still bloated from that. Like, I think I might have celiac.
What is that?
It's like I don't want to say it, but it's a gluten allergy. Yeah. Dude, if I eat pasta, that shit just sits in my stomach. Yeah. And it's just like, I'm just bloated and it's there for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I don't think it's actually gluten. I think it's all the crap they put in the fucking wheat in the U.S. Like, you look at the ingredients list on the wheat around here, or flour, and all the shit that's in there, I don't think it's actually gluten intolerance. I think it's a poison intolerance. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have anything to back that up. I just know I feel like shit after I drink beer now. And yeah.
I can't drink more than 1 beer. if I have a beer, and it's got to be something light.
I like Coors Light. I mean, that's been my thing forever. But even I don't drink that much Coors Light anymore either. You know?
No, those Coors Lights have been in the fridge for months.
Yeah,
months and months.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here like hold my breath in because my gut's hanging over my fucking jeans because I'm so distended from whatever I drank.
Jesus.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Juice wasn't worth the squeeze, you know.
Man. That's a whole nother conversation right there because it is not.
Yeah.
I don't want to turn this into a poor me story, so I won't.
Can't complain. It's not like anybody listen if you did.
No, it's been a great learning experience for the last year and a half.
Oh, hey, you know what? Kudos to us. 200,000 downloads.
Yeah. 200,000 all-time downloads. Fuck
Watch out, Brogan.
Here we
coming,
come.
buddy.
We're coming right there.
Oh, now you're just breathing heavy.
Oh, God damn it, dog.
She come out of her fart?
No.
Oh.
She's just coming over to see me.
Yeah.
But awesome, man. Well, we got a good year ahead of us. A lot of shit going on.
I'm pretty excited with the direction we're heading in, the control we have over the business now, the understanding we have of the business, and shit. I think I bid on $1 million worth of shit this month already.
Cool.
Well, it's the 31st, so yeah, I bid on $1 million this month, which was good because it had dried up for a while.
Yeah.
There wasn't much coming out. There wasn't much that was like very big. There was some like really piddly public works projects that kind of rolled out. Yeah, so it's I'm excited. I think the market's starting to turn around too. The Feds are rolling out a plan to drop rates to 5%. So that means we're going to see a lot more shit come back online because money's just been too expensive at 8%. Investors aren't buying anything at fucking 8%.
8% plus material inflation.
Yeah,
is a lot.
And hopefully, I mean, it's an election year, everybody. So get ready for the riots, get ready for the civil unrest, get ready for the nonsense, and just do me a favor. No matter what fucking dipshit side you're a part of, they're all fucked. Understand that this is all a ploy to get you angry at somebody else.
That's right.
Don't buy into it.
That's so true. Oh, shit. Well, let's wrap it up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. End that on politics. All right.
End on politics. All right. You can find Nate if you want to talk politics on Instagram at Nate.
Do not hit me up to talk about politics. You're going to be severely disappointed that I don't think what you think I think. You think I think.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
It's got to be your bull.
Yeah.
Anyway, he is on Instagram at NateNoon87. I am on Instagram at The Tradesman Experience. Email is thetradesmanexperience@gmail.com. Go check out the workshop. Get your ticket. That's on the website at thetradesmanexperience.com. YouTube channel is The Tradesman Experience. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Get out there. Get shit done. Be proud to be a tradesman. See ya.